So we're going to try this again. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties and I still have flies everywhere. But I'm going to try and do a really quick run through of essentials materials, kind of what we talked about last night, and see how it goes. My kiddos are not quietly tucked away in bed. They are upstairs playing Legos after finishing our morning schoolwork. Last night, if you missed it, I actually live on a farm, and it's really bad fly season right now, so the flies are going crazy, and no matter how hard I try, they're everywhere in my house. So that's what you see going on here if I'm swatting at flies or one lands on my forehead. Okay, but the first thing we're going to start with is the materials. It's really important to have a good understanding of what the materials are. So first I'm going to start with IEW. So I have, with IEW, the teacher's manual. This is the teacher's manual. I actually do buy the teacher's manual. You can also, I've heard, I actually should check, you can get I'm not sure, but I've heard that you can buy just the student manual and download this. I just like to have a hard copy, so I have it, and I do get the newest book each year because I just want to have the newest and the best information, so I do that. So teacher's manual. Then I have, obviously the student book, which you just saw. And then I went ahead and bought the student resource binder this year, and I'm really glad that I did. I wasn't sure when I bought it, and now I'm really glad that I bought it. So this is what it looks like. The thing that's really cool about it is it has the portable walls on the front and on the back, so you don't have to worry about getting those. So that's an awesome. This is the binder. It comes with all the tabs and everything on the inside. You also get, this is a free download, so if you'd rather just do that, you can. I just prefer the binder, and we'll talk more about that in a second. Okay. And then in addition to that, I have cut out from the back of the student book the vocabulary cards and laminated them. So I also use those. You'll see me referring to those. They're laminated. By the way, CC has the awesome Office Max, Office Depot discount cards. They're amazing. This year, retail cost for my laminating would have been over $300, and I paid $85 for it. And that included not just essential stuff, but stuff for all 4 of my kids. Actually 5. So this year, I didn't talk about this meeting. This year I'm homeschooling a 10-year-old in Essentials. This is my 10-year-old. It's his second year in Essentials. And I also have a 13-year-old in Essentials. It's his first year. He's not my child. He's a friend's child that she's a single mom, and I'm just homeschooling him with my kids this year. So first year, 13-year-old, second year, 10-year-old. That's who I have in Essentials this year. Okay, so that's IEW. Then for Essentials, I have the EEL guide. Grab it here, right here in front of me. I have taken the EEL guide, and I have taken the week by weeks. This is the weeks here. Only the weeks section, and I have divided them into 2 separate books. One has weeks 1 through 12. The other one has weeks 13 through 24. And I've bound them. It's smaller. Now, second semester, I'll actually take both of them with me to class, but this just makes it easier to carry them around. So this is what I have here. So I have that, the Essentials guide. Then I also made for myself this year these laminated charts. I took copies of all of the charts from my guide, and I just took the filled in charts and I laminated them all and I bound them. And I have for my kiddos the the chart that they sell, the oh, of course my son doesn't have it in here. Oh yes, he does. Okay, so for my kid, no he doesn't. The chart, the Trivium table that has all the charts on it, I actually bought that this year. And of course it's not here. He was probably copying a chart this morning and took it out. And I actually, next year, I think I'll do this. I actually prefer it. It just is awesome. But just to have a quick reference in class. But they also have that Trivium table. And then I have also created what I call my Essentials binder, which has... this is just our schedule given to us by our tutor. So what I have in my binder is I'm a foundations tutor this year, so I actually have some foundation stuff in the front. So let me move that out of the way. Okay, so I have these tabs here in the front of the binder. So in the front is just the handouts, and this is where I keep handouts from our awesome Essentials tutor. I keep them here in the front of the binder. And then the next thing I have is just the introductory section right here, which is, if you haven't read this, you really should read it. I have a little helper that is here watching me. Do you need me? No? Oh, you just want to watch? Okay. So I have this little intro here, which is just the introductory section that has all of the awesome info. If you haven't read this yet, I cannot recommend to you enough to read that. And then I have the gear. So these are the original copies of all of the charts right here. And behind this next tablet, like I said, I made copies and laminated them into a binder. And then in this third section here, I have the mechanics and the spelling portions, which I'll talk about that in just a second. And then in the back, I have extra page notebook paper for chart copying and notes. And then I have the some page protectors and some cut up charts. Okay, Mommy told you she needed to do this. I need you to go play. Okay, go play, please. I'll see you in a little bit. Go play. Or you can sit there and watch, but you cannot put your face there and make funny faces. Okay? That's not allowed. If you want to sit and watch, that's fine, but you need to sit and watch off the screen. Off the screen. Thank you. Okay, and then we have, let's see, so for what I do with the spelling and the punctuation charts, which are divided by weeks. So you have, each week you have a new spelling rule and you have a new punctuation rule. So this week's punctuation rule, or spelling rules, I do give them a new one each week. Take that upstairs and go upstairs like I asked you to, please. I give them a new one each week. So here's week 1 and here's week 2. And then here is the punctuation and grammar rules. So I make little cards for them to go over each week, so which we'll talk more about that in a minute too. And then, so for each of my kids, this is another reason why I liked this, this binder here, is that I have in the very back here, okay, you're going to have a consequence if you choose to disobey again. You need to go upstairs right now. You have 3 seconds to obey. If I have to start this whole video over because of you, it will not be good. So go upstairs right now. 1.
Hold on.
2, I'm not holding on. 3, upstairs. Thank you. Sorry. Inside this binder, we have, like we talked about the IEW stuff, and then what I have done is I have taken all of the charts and again, made copies, and I have put them in here. This is just their overview for the week. And I have put them in here, so they have their chart A here, and then their blank chart A here. So they have a copy of all their charts. So when we're in Essentials class, they just have this one binder plus their student notebook for IEW. That's all they have to carry about. They don't have to run through a whole bunch of different things. So that just simplified it for them. Okay, so that's how I set up the student binders. So let's talk about week 1. Let's walk through week 1 and what we do for week 1. Week 1, before we start in any weeks at all, I want to talk about what your goal is for this. Your goal for this is Easy Plus 1. If you haven't gone to watch the Andrew Pudewa videos with your campus, I can't encourage you enough to do that. They're really encouraging. But throughout this whole session, when I'm talking about Easy Plus 1, I'm going to talk about that forever. So every week we're going to talk about Easy Plus 1, and as you're talking with your kids and teaching your kids, that's what you need to refer to when you're working with them. So with that in mind, we're going to start with Essentials. And what did we do for Essentials this week? So this week for Essentials, first of all, you're going to turn to week 1. So here's my binder. I'm going to turn to week 1. At the top of week 1, you have an overview. Oh my goodness, these flies. You have an overview of everything that you're going to be going over. So it's just overview. You're talking about the subject and the predicate, and you're going over charts A and B. And you do not have to do any of the EEL tasks yet. We haven't introduced that yet. So this is what we're going over. This has all of the vocabulary and important information for you, and then this just kind of teaches what you're learning. So towards the back of each week, you're going to find that there is an in-class section, which is interesting because your tutor, this is what she uses for tutoring. So you have all the tools that you need to do this at home, even if you miss a week. Of course, being in class is always going to be best because you're going to get to answer your questions and interact, and class is invaluable. But if you're sick, you have all of the information here. So this is in class, and then in the back, then underneath in class, after the in class section, you're going to have an at home section. And that's going to tell you what you need to do at home. So for week 1, what did we do at home, especially if you have a first year student? Remember, Easy Plus 1. The most important thing this week is Chart A. So this is Chart A. So what we did this week is we went over Chart A, we copied Chart A. Now, if you have a child that hates writing or is new, my son, when he started, last year was his first year, he was only at a 2nd grade reading level. He had terrible handwriting, he hated to write, he didn't have the fine motor to do it, and so I would do a lot of the copying for him. He would tell me what to write and I would write it. I would also give him, another thing you can do is you can make a copy of this and you can cut out each of these individual pieces, and then he can have like a puzzle to put on the blank chart. That's another really awesome option. Or if you're blessed like I am and you have a friend, I jokingly call her my Martha Stewart friend, that is just super crafty and creative, this is it. Now, I won't do this for every chart, but chart A is the backbone of the program. Excuse me, I'm kind of digging through some stuff I have here on the side. The backbone of the program. So this is, if you were going to do this with one chart, this is the chart I would suggest that you do it with. Okay, look at this. This is chart A. It's amazing. I did not make this. I don't have time for this. I don't have the patience for this. She made this for me. She was his tutor last year, and it's all messed up because we've been using it. But this is just a piece of that foam board, and then this is laminated cardstock, and then Velcro pieces. So this is actually a manipulative chart that they can use. And this is going to be something that you'll be able to use over and over and over again, and it's going to be amazing. So you also have that option as well to do chart A. So that's really your goal for week 1. Now, if you are new to the CC program and your child hasn't gone through foundations, or even if they haven't mastered all the foundations work, you can go on CC Connected. Even if you don't have a member, it's worth it for you to get a membership just for 1 month at $6 and cancel it. Go on CC Connected and download songs for every single week of English memory work and create a playlist. I did that for my son our first year because when we started CC, I was totally new to CC. I was like, they don't need to worry about English right now, and I really regret that because they really did. So we started a playlist last year, and I think the playlist is like 30 minutes long from start to finish. It does all of the English memory work for foundations, and they'll need that in essentials. And you just play that over and over and over again. And I think that he had most of it memorized within 2 to 3 weeks, the first 2 to 3 weeks. We just played it constantly in the car, we were eating lunch, and that's a really great way to get them to remember their memory work and start connecting things together. So week 1 for EL, chart A, in whatever manner your child does it. Now, if this is super easy for your student, you can go over and you can do chart B. Now, something that was pointed out by our awesome tutor this week is that chart B is, even though it looks crazy overwhelming with all of this stuff, and remember, if chart A is hard for your student, you should not even look at chart B. We did not look at chart B our first year. This year we looked at it, but he didn't copy it. So just so you know where we're at right now. Don't feel like you have to do chart B, because if it's not easy, your goals, do what's easy and add one more thing on top of that. So if chart A is not easy, you should not even look at chart B. Okay, but here's chart B. Here's something that's really cool to look at. Okay, so up here you have the simple structure, and then you have the structural purpose, which is simple, and this is the declarative section. So this is declarative. So all the way down is SD. And then you have patterns, SVI, SVT, DO. Oh my goodness. That's exactly the same as chart A. So your child should already have all of this and all of this part of chart B already memorized if they have chart A memorized. Easy. And then you just add in the sentences. Now, to start with this, I know if I were to show this to my 10-year-old, he would be completely overwhelmed. So again, our awesome tutor gave us another awesome idea of cutting a piece of paper, taking a whole piece of paper and just cutting out like a quadrant of it so that, I don't have that right here, but we'll just pretend, so that it covers up all but that first section. So maybe they just start with that first section for chart B. And that might be the +1 for them. Or if that's easy, you could do 2 sections. If that's easy, you can do 3. So do you see the concept? The concept is what's easy plus one more thing. Because remember, they're going to do this 3 years in a row. So if they don't master chart B, their first tour or their second tour through essentials, that's okay. They still have their third tour. Because here's the thing. In their first tour through essentials, they're going to master a tiny bit. In their second tour, they're going to master a little bit more. And in their third tour, they're going to master most, but they're not going to get all of it. That's not the point. The point is that we're building on something. What your kids are learning in essentials right now, most people don't even learn in college. I was a high school grammar teacher for 1 year, and I didn't learn this in college, and I had to teach myself it when I was teaching it to my students. So the point, remember, don't put pressure to make your child or feel like you have to do all of this, because you don't. So week 1 is really chart A, going over it, and chart B, if you can get to that. That's it, okay? So let's go into, I'm going to close this back up, and let's go into IEW. Oh, before we do that, the other thing that I add, again, if you want to, is the spelling flashcards, which I make myself. Again, they're on page, in your Essentials Guide, I have the newer Essentials Guide. Let me look it up so I can tell you. So in the newer Essentials Guide, the punctuation and capitalization rules that are broken up by the 24 weeks is on page 459. And then the spelling rules, they actually have 24 basic rules, and then they have advanced rules. Again, easy +1. We're only on easy right now for us. The spelling rules are on page 465. So we just add a grammar rule every week, and we add a spelling rule every week to go over. Now, as for spelling list, I have fought with spelling for years. Here's what we've decided to do for this year. I actually use SWR for my littlest one, or my 6-year-old, and that's great. I tried to use SWR for my oldest one, and the learning curve was too great to pick up in the middle. So it's fantastic if you're teaching a child how to read. I personally could not figure out, or I didn't have the time to figure out how to skip forward without having gaps, and then how to fill in the gaps without boring them to death. So what we're doing for spelling for my older kids is when we write our IEW, which we're going to talk about in a minute, if there is a word that they misspell in their rough draft, and when we go back I can tell they clearly don't know how to spell it, that gets put onto an unofficial spelling list, and that is the words that they're going to work on spelling. So classical in the approach, because you're actually teaching them something that they need to know. So they're not learning to spell words that are frustrating to them because they think they already know how to spell them, and it's a word that's applicable to what they're learning. So awesome way to do it. And then what happens is, even if it doesn't match the spelling rule exactly, as they learn the spelling rules, they're going to slowly realize, I remember when we were talking last week that after F, L, and S, and after the first syllable, you double. So anyways, that's just a great way to do spelling. So that's what we've done this year, and it makes it easy for me. I don't have to figure out a spelling curriculum for them. It's just super easy, and a great way for them to learn, and for me to fully take advantage of the Essentials curriculum. Hi! My little one's here now. Do you want to say hi? Look. Say hi. Oh, peek. Okay. You want to sit on my lap? You can't push buttons. Okay, you can sit on my lap. As I said, last night we were distraction-free, but today we are not going to be distraction-free because we have children that are still running around. Okay, so let's go into IEW for week 1. So the goal of IEW for week 1 was learning how to do a keyword outline. So let's talk about what that looks like. In your IEW book, in the student book, you have that first, we're talking about Christopher Columbus, okay? So this week we worked on keyword outline of Christopher Columbus. You most likely did at least some of this keyword outline in class, or another one. And so your goal here is to work on teaching your children how to do a keyword outline. If they have never done a keyword outline before, this is going to be their +1. Okay, so you're probably not going to get a whole lot more accomplished this week than working on this keyword outline. So here's what the goal of that is. So the first sentence is, in the 1400s, people of Europe wanted riches from the East Indies. So my first year with my son, if I said to him, okay, tell me the 3 most important things from that sentence, his response would have been something along the lines of, from, I don't know. Okay, so he obviously doesn't know what he's doing. That's okay. They don't have to know what they're doing. That's why we're teaching them. Okay, so you're going to want to ask them, what is this sentence about? Oh, it's about people. That's right. It's about people. What time period? 1400s. Great. We have 1400s written. Let's put PPL for people so that it doesn't count as one of our words. What else? What about those people? Where are they from? Europe? Right. Let's write EUR for Europe. Great. What did they want? Riches? Great. What's a sign that stands for money? A dollar sign? Great. Let's write a dollar sign. So what you're doing is you're teaching them how to pick out the most important words in a sentence. Now, a word about writing. This is a lot that we're teaching them. If your student isn't a strong writer, if they hate writing, write for them. Because the other thing on top of Easy +1 is that you cannot help them too much. You are modeling to them what they are supposed to be doing. They're going to learn through modeling. It's why kids mimic us all the time, because they learn through modeling. And so that's what we're going to be doing. Yeah.
Help.
No, I don't need Owen's help. Okay, I'm still doing this, so you need to go play. Okay, I'll make lunch as soon as I'm done. I'm almost done.
I'm starving.
You'll be okay. You're not starving. You had a huge breakfast.
You can't read my mind.
Okay. Owen, upstairs, please. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to work on doing that keyword outline here. Okay, so that's what we're working on. And as we go through the outline, the goal is to finish the outline. And again, if you need to write most of it, it's fine for you to write most of it. If they want to write it, let them write it. If they want to copy it, whatever is comfortable for you and for them. Then the goal is for them to go back and to look at the keyword outline and write a sentence on each line based on the notes that they made. So what we're teaching them here is we're teaching them how to pick out the correct word. Can you say hi? No. How to pick out the correct words. And we're teaching them that they need to choose words when they write words. Another thing, kids will want to do symbols for everything. So for people, they'd want to draw like these super intricate things. Well, that's not time. That takes too much time. So we want them to learn to do things quickly and efficiently and also with purpose. And so when they're looking at this, they want to be able to do this. Now, so my son, the first year, this is when I would have said to him, okay, look at line 1 and give me a sentence. This is what he would have said. 1400 PPL, your want dollar E end. Okay, again, that's okay because we're modeling to them that. Okay, so we'll look what 1400s, what does PPL stand for? People. So do you think we could say in the 1400s, people of Europe? Yes, we could. Don't hit that or you're going to get down. Do you want to get down? Okay, then hold your hands here. You want to hold this piece of paper? Okay, so that's what we could say about that. So we want to encourage them. We want to teach them how to do this. Okay, so what I would do for week 1 for your student is work on the outline, okay? Work on teaching them how to recite back what's in the outline. The next thing that I would do is this week's dress up. That is, yes, an A. This week's dress up is adverbs. Are you showing them? Yeah, you're doing a great job. This week's dress up is adverbs. And so the really cool thing about this book, so we aren't going to use in Essentials, we're not going to use lessons 2 or 3, but lesson 2 is all about ly adverbs. So it even has, if you're going over what an ly adverb is, it even has on page 18, you'll see here is practice using ly adverbs. And so what you can do is you have a sentence here that says, Columbus set sail across the Sea of Darkness. And then there's a blank line right here for an ly adverb. So what you can say is, Columbus set sail across the Sea of Darkness. We want to know how he set sail. How do you think he set sail? Good. No, we want to use an ly adverb. Can you think of one? No. Okay, they don't need to think of one. This is new to them. They're learning it. That's okay. That's why we have this amazing notebook. Okay, so then we're going to turn to the page in here, the bright pink page that goes over adverbs. And we have a whole list of ly adverbs that we can use. So we can read through them absent-mindedly, actually, affectionately, anxiously, arrogantly. And they're going to say, what's arrogantly? Or do you know what arrogantly means? No? Okay, well, let's talk about it. So this is all about relationship. You're wanting to teach your children through discussion and through relationship. Remember, if you touch it, you have to get down. Do you want me to put you down?
No.
Then don't touch it. Okay? This is all about relationship, and this is all about having a conversation with your kids as you're teaching them, okay? So that's another way for you to get some vocabulary in to teach them. So then you're going to practice using ly adverbs, okay? Lesson 2 has a great spot for it, and I believe lesson 3 does as well, which is another place. And that should just take you a few seconds. You're just going to do 3 of them because you're just introducing it. Okay, so for us this year, believe it or not, we actually did our keyword outline and our ly adverbs, and we went over our keyword outline in the first day. That was easy for us. So guess what we did the next day? We actually wrote the paper. So when we went back, do I have pretty earrings on? Thank you. You're very sweet. Just don't pull because that will hurt Mommy. So we actually went ahead and we wrote our paper. And so what we did was when they would dictate it back to me, they would write it down. Now the 13-year-old just wrote his down himself. My 10-year-old actually, he started writing and then he asked me to take over for him, which is huge because he didn't write a single thing last year until about midway through the year. And I will never forget what happened is I had to write everything for him. He couldn't write. It was too stressful for him. It totally stressed him out. And he would be napping while we would do our essentials time. While we would do our essentials time, he would be napping. And I came out, he woke up and I went to put him down and I came back out and my son had written the entire rest of the paper all by himself. It was amazing. It will happen. It may not happen the first year, but it will absolutely happen. Okay, so you may be doing all the writing as they dictate it to it. You may be coming up with the sentences yourself and writing it down. Again, whatever is easy, add one more thing. So then we wrote the paper and we wrote it out and then we read it. And guess what? We did that all on the second day. We still had 2 more days. So what did we do next? The next day we went back and we added ly adverbs to our paper and we chose vocabulary words and added them to our paper and we made a rough draft. And then the next day we did the final draft and then we typed it up and that was our week 1. Again, I have a second-year 10-year-old and I have a first-year 13-year-old. So that's where we were at. It may not look like that for you. Now let's say you have a third year. A third-year student, maybe they do all of that the first day, which is, if I was doing it by myself, I could do that all in 20 minutes. Okay, but that's because I have an English background. So what they can do is they can go ahead and let's say your child didn't get the keyword outline and you want to keep working on it. You have another paragraph and a blank keyword outline in lesson 2 that you can use. So maybe your student ends up doing 2 paragraphs this week. Okay, it's whatever works for your family. This is an individualized education with you as the teacher because only you know what is easy plus one more thing for your student. So I hope that's helpful for week 1 and a quick overview. I need to make my kiddos lunch, but really quick. So if you are first new to Essentials, all you should be doing for week 1 is Chart A and practicing a keyword outline and introducing ly adverbs. That's it. Everything else is extra. If all of that is easy for you and you get it accomplished in the first day, the second day, add more on as needed. That's what you're going to be doing every week this year. Okay, so I'm going to be back tonight, and tonight I'm going to go over week 2, and we will not have distractions because all of the children will be in bed. And we're going to go over week 2 together. So that's what we're going to do tonight, and I'll just do it every Monday night at 9 o'clock as long as I am capable. And we keep going. And we will be doing this on Facebook Live. I'm doing this on YouTube because we did it on Facebook Live last night and Facebook just lost it. So I'm going to try Facebook Live one more time tonight and hopefully they won't lose it. The reason I like to do Facebook Live is because I like the comment section. We had some great comments and talking, and I want to be able to answer your questions. And if we're on Facebook Live, you guys can do that and add your ideas and everything to the discussion. So tonight at 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on my Facebook page, Mommy Secrets is the name of it, I will go live again and we will go through week 2. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and let me know if you have questions, and hopefully this gives you a good idea of what we'll be doing, and I look forward to you guys participating more, and let's just pray that Facebook Live works so that we can continue to do it that way. All right, have a good rest of the day.